Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the WE2R Liberians Movement platform, your distinct and dynamic platform that speaks to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we are in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people, not only in Liberia, but even around the world. Again, if you have tuned in, I ask you begin to share this live with as many people as possible. This is your one and only platform, the WE2R Liberians Movement platform, the platform that speaks to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we are in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people, not only in Liberia, but even around the world. Today is Monday. The time now is a little past 8 p.m. Today is April 18th, 2020. I am going to be your host as usual, Ayiti Williams. And so again, if you have tuned in, I actually begin to share this live with as many people as possible. This is your platform, the platform that's in the business of decolonizing the thought process of our people, decolonizing the mindset. Thank you again for tuning in. Actually, you begin to share this live with as many people as possible. Now, we have been actually discussing Liberia's Renaissance. That is the new Liberia rebirth, one may say. Today, we want to kind of just get back into where we left off. I would say maybe a little over a month, or maybe 2 months ago. And so today, just for your hearing, our topic is going to be narrowed down. I know we've been talking about how can they know until they have a teacher. We took that from the Holy Quran, and we have one of our subtopics that we have been really dwelling on, which is how can they know until they have a teacher. But what we really want to kind of focus on tonight or today is to kind of reassure, our young people, our young folks, just to give them a little bit of reassurance that there is still light at the end of the tunnel, regardless of what the situation might seem like, because it seems to me like in Liberia, there's not much of a hope for our youth. And so tonight's edition of the show, we just want to kind of highlight how, there's still hope. For those of you who are goal-oriented, those of you who have potentials, and I know a lot of our young people there in Liberia do have potential. But until you're placed in that environment, the right environment, you probably won't know that you have that potential. And so we want to kind of, sensitize you, give you an opportunity to know that, in spite of the current situation, in spite of how bad the situation might seem right now, there's still hope for the future. And especially, our country, Liberia, there's still hope, regardless of the situation that's unfolding at this particular time. Especially we find ourselves living in darkness. We find our people are still living in abject poverty. Most of the promises that were made, one may say is a little still early. So let us just give this government a little bit more time. But we want to step back a little bit from the politics and just deal with individuals, because I strongly believe that there is still hope at the end of the tunnel. And so today, I want to first preference the show by thanking all of our followers, those of you who have consistently, not only when we have the live broadcast, but those of you who go back and watch the broadcast, from time to time. This platform is actually set up to kind of desensitize the mind, kind of educate our people, to restore hope, because we know that a lot of our people are hopeless. A lot of people are to a large extent, giving up along the way. And we want to kind of we want to pay a particular focus on our youth. So today I'm going to go back to where I started when I first started this podcast, and that is, the knowledge of self. The knowledge of self. I think it's important for all of us to kind of know who we are, why we're here, our purpose, and things of that nature. And that way we will be able to kind of push ourselves, to doing our stay here, doing our time here, to make sure that we are maximizing, our potential, regardless of the situation that we find ourselves in. And so, until the sperm meets the egg, you can never have a person. And so that's how critical this thing is, and I think if people get to really understand the true knowledge of self, know their potential, know their purpose, they'll be unstoppable. No one will be able to stop you from achieving, or accomplishing that which, you were placed here for. And the thing is, because it really doesn't matter what you become, and, but just be the best version. We'll always say that. So I'll go back to what I was talking about, until the sperm meets the egg. And I want you to listen, because if you listen to this, you know exactly that you've already made it, the fact that you're here, and that's why I'm going to start, with this again. Until the sperm meets the egg. See, just take for just to give you a clear indication of how powerful and how important, how critical it is for you to understand this. And once you understand this, again, I'm going to repeat myself, you will be unstoppable. No one is going to, no matter how difficult it may seem, no matter how that barricade may be, you'll still be able to go through it, because, that sperm, it took a sperm to meet the egg. And think about it. When your dad kind of met your mom, the sperm met that egg. It was it was billions, I would say billions of sperm that actually came out, excuse me. But you were that one individual who actually made it to that one egg, or the egg. And then just think about the process. You started as an embryo, or a clot. From a clot became an embryo, a fetus, and you went through the first trimester, the second trimester, and the third trimester, and then you came out and you made it out here. And the fact that you've made it out here, that you've already made it. You are unstoppable, because it was a lot of other individual, other I'll say eggs or sperm that did not even get to the point of going through the first, the second, the third trimester to make it here. But you were that one person who actually made it here. And so that's why it's important for you to know that you've already succeeded, because a lot of the individual did not make it. And so why is it that you would be marginalized? Why is it that you would be, locked up in prison? Why is it that you wouldn't be able to achieve or accomplish that which you were called to be? The book says that, for I know the plans that I have for you, not to harm you, to prosper you, and to bring you to an expected end. That, it says it all. So no one is supposed to be able to stop you. I understand the situation in Liberia. I understand how difficult it is. I understand how hard it is. But I feel as though we're still moving in circle. And until we can identify, where we've come from, the processes or the process that we went through to be here. And so that no one, no matter how hard it may seem, no one should be able to set some kind of limit on you. You should be able to achieve and accomplish that which you have come for. And so I just wanted to pitch that before I actually get into, what I want to kind of talk about, because it's important. If we don't know, our worth, if we don't know why we're here, if we don't know our purpose, then we won't be able to contribute to society and to make a difference. So the fact that you have come here, you have not come to play around, you have not come to be some kind of number, or you've not come just to be spectators, but you have come to make an impact. And while you're here, you must strive to make such impact. It doesn't matter. But I want to narrow this to Liberians for the most part. Those who are in Liberia domestically, and even those who are in the diaspora. Once we get to know who we are, once we get to know, self, that we are here, we have the ability to speak those things that be not as though they are. We have the ability to say, let there be, and there will be. And so, our second subtopic will be Liberians, or Liberian ignorance is $1 million business. And why do I say the things that we need, we must produce. ourselves. It's critical for us to understand why are we still looking, to the outside world for our salvation. When again, we have all of the resources. We have pretty much all of the natural resources that we need to make our country a better place, to improve the quality of lives of our people. We to achieve and accomplish those things that we need to be a country, that will be placed on the map. Again, we'll just sit back and kind of talk about this. Think about where Liberia came from. 1822, the country was founded, right? Now, 1847, she gained independence. Now, this is 2024. Why would we continue to be so far behind when other countries are making strides? There are examples around us. We see Niger, we see Burkina Faso, we see Rwanda, we see Mali. We see Kenya, South Africa. We know what's going on down there. But Liberia can be back on the map. Liberians have potential. So you as a young man or a young girl, do not limit yourself to what people think of you. Do not limit yourself, to tribe. Do not limit yourself to your dad's last name. Do not limit yourself to your family background, because you are more than a conqueror. You have come here for a time in the season. And if you push yourself, if you strive to make something of yourself, you don't need anyone. I know one would say no man's an island, but you have the capacity, you have the ability. And I wanted to kind of pitch the knowledge of self so that you can know exactly that you've already succeeded just from birth. And by making it outside, making it out here, that implies that you are unstoppable. So now, and the reason why I wanted to kind of pitch this topic to Liberian, ignorance is what? It's $1 million business. It's clear. We talk about foreigners coming into Liberia, tapping into our resources, taking over our commerce, taking over our businesses, taking over our land, taking over our property, taking to a large extent, taking over our economy. So they have control. Why? Why is it happening? Because the lack of knowledge, and that has to do with our ignorance. There are other things that we can kind of tap into. Should everyone go to college? That's a question. Should everyone be a doctor? Should everyone be a lawyer? Should everyone be an accountant? Should everyone be a project manager? Should everyone be a banker? You can be whatever you want to be. And it has to do with self, knowing who you are. I understand that one would say that the environment does have an impact on an individual, but the environment also starts within the mind. And a state of mind can also be your environment. And now that I have kind of pitched that, you knowing who you are, you knowing your self-worth, you knowing that you've already succeeded, made it, through childbirth. You've come here, into this world. Everything that we need has been provided. Now, in the context of Liberia, we have all of the natural resources that we need, that our government our leaders can kind of tap into, so that they can help us reach our full potential. For example, Liberia has diamond, Liberia has gold, Liberia has rubber, Liberia has copper. Think about even our fishery. Think about just the sand that we have. Think about the rivers, the ocean, the creeks, and all that stuff that we have. We can maximize, we can take advantage of all of those factors to make our world and our country a better place. But we have individuals who are serving as obstacles so that we cannot, as youth. I'm not a youth. I'm just using that so that you can understand, because I want to make sure that our youth are given opportunities to thrive, and so that they can reach their full potential. Because I feel as though that our youth they've been marginalized, they've been suppressed, they are not given opportunity. We have smart individuals that we for those of us who have already crossed over, because for me, what I think is by the time you hit 35, you're 40, 45 years old, you're getting there. I'm not saying that you should put limit on your aspiration or the things that you have intended to accomplish, that you shouldn't strive to accomplish them. You still need to do that, but I think we need to focus primarily on the young folks, to make sure that they're given the opportunity. We prepare them so that they can be able to take over, so that they can, for the furtherance of our nation, for the furtherance of the country. But we are not giving them the opportunity. We are not giving them any opportunity. The older ones now continue to steal. The older ones continue to take all the jobs. The older ones continue to embezzle, continue to strive. They are striving to enrich themselves. What opportunities are we giving to these people? We are not setting the mark. When Paul cautioned us to make every effort, not falling short, but to reach the mark. One said, not Muhammad Ali, but Malcolm X once said that an unexamined world is not worth living in. The unexamined life is now, it's painful. I think it's time that our elders sit back, rethink their decision to make sure that they're incorporating our young folks, they're incorporating the youngsters, and they are ensuring that we are preparing, our young people so that they can be able to take over. You have young accountants, you have young sociologists, you have young doctors, you have young nurses. Look at our country. The government now is the highest employer. We should create the environment. Government should strive to create an environment where we have our young men, those who are innovators, because we do have some of them. Some of our young people have traveled outside. They do have the skills, they have the knowledge, they have the requisite skills to make a significant difference in that country. I was talking to a young man who he's a very vibrant, strong young man, very, very, smart, educated, has a lot of skills. Went to Liberia, trying to he had proposals, trying to make things happen. No opportunity. All of his dreams, his aspirations were shut down. What are we doing about that? We need to strive to ensure that we're tapping into our youth, we're tapping into our youngsters, we're tapping into the young ones. And that's why it's important for us to begin this conversation to ensure that these young people, are making headways. And I know with these new ideas and these new ideologies, we will definitely be able to strive to make a difference, and our world will be a better place. But I feel as though we're not giving these young people the opportunity. But what I want to assure and reassure the young people that hope is not. We still need to push. We still need to push harder. Dr. King once said, he said, I use this all the time. He said that. I see a call coming in. I can't even take that. I'm sorry. I'm on live right now. I can't take any call. I have to decline this. And again, I got a little bit I got distracted. But I'm trying to pay a particular focus on our youth, because I feel as though that our youth are not given the opportunity. They're not giving any ground to succeed. And if we're not providing, if we're not opening these doors for these individuals, we keep recycling these same people, same ideas, same ideology. The country is going to continue to just spin, and we'll move nowhere, but we'll continue to be static. And so that's why it's important for us to kind of highlight this, so that even those, and I think that the problem also that we're having here, some of these people, the ways that they conducting themselves is just the tradition, is the way of life. They've not been taught to go back, reach back, grab these young people, educate them, mold them, and then place them into society so that our society can be a better place. And the only way that can happen until we begin to change the minds, the thought process of our people. So I wanted to come in today. I know it's been a while, but I thought that with everything else that's going on in Liberia right now, we saw that people went to the polls, and they elected a new president into office with the hope that they'll get the change. One may say that I think it's a little too early, but the thing here is, I think you just think of some of the appointments that have been made. You know, some of those appointments. Why are we look at your country? The country has been in darkness for so long. Look, still look at the condition of the people. Look at the condition of the masses, and nothing has changed. So we're hoping that with some of the ideas we're trying to pitch and show that government is tapping heavily into developing the youth, developing our young folks, so that they can incorporate them into society, so that society can start to really feel, and not only feel that change, but also to kind of see that change. And then once change starts to take effect, our country will be a better place. But our youth, a lot of our youth have been, reduced to drug addicts, prostitutes, beggars. We don't need that. We don't need that. This is sad. This is completely sad. Like I said earlier on in my opening statement, it doesn't matter where you come from, who's your dad, who's your mom. You can be anything. You know what I mean? If you push yourself, if you build yourself, if you maximize your potential, definitely. But what's needed here is so that the environment, those who are in leadership can make sure that they provide or put together or construct that infrastructure that our youth will be able to maximize. So if you have tuning, this is the WE2R Liberians Movement platform, your distinct and dynamic platform that speaks to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we are in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people, not only in Liberia, but even around the world. Again, how can they know until they have a teacher? That has been the topic ongoing for lack of knowledge, the people perish. This is all about Liberia Renaissance, and things of that nature. We want to tap heavily into our youth. We want to make sure that our youth are maximizing their full potential. But how can that happen if our youth themselves don't even know who they are, why they're here, their purpose, But the thing is, it also has to do with the leadership, the older ones. They don't even know their own purpose. They don't know why they're here. You're not here for the acquisition of wealth. You're not here to amass for yourself wealth, have luxury cars and do this. No, we're here actually to build the people, that are around us and to ensure that they be their best selves. And the only way that can happen is if we build that infrastructure, and then we train them, and then we put them into society, and they'll be able to do the same. And the quality of lives of our people will even improve, and our country will be a better place. The reason why Liberia is so far behind, because of Liberian ignorance, which is $1 million business. And that's why the guy from Nigeria would come to Liberia and succeed. The guy from Mali would come to Liberia and succeed. The guy from Sierra Leone would come to Liberia to succeed. The Lebanese guy would come to Liberia. The Chinese guy would come to Liberia, and he would even succeed than our own people. But we want to make sure that these things we put a hold on these things. In fact, we minimize it. We minimize these things. It is not a bad thing to have, foreigners come into the country with their ideas, with their skills and this and that. But we need to make sure that we're giving our people preference. We're giving our young folks preference. How can we do that? We invest into our schools, How can we do that? We invest into our, not only academics, but we can also do that into trades. We can also do that into other areas, because like I said, we do have the natural resources to actually empower our people. So we're sitting there, we're asking for help. We need electricity. What we have rivers. We have individuals who have the education. They can come, we can build ourselves. But first and foremost, we need to tap into our natural resources. Look at the Western cluster. With all of the natural resources that they have, you have a few group of people that are enjoying that. A few group of people that are stealing, embezzling, and you keep hearing the same name over and over when you have the masses still living in abject poverty. So with this enlightenment, our young people will know that there's really hope. And that's why you don't have to, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or whatever. If you tap really into your own potential, don't limit yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dream. Don't limit yourself to being someone get boy, being someone yard boy, being someone security and things like that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You can be the best of everything that you choose to be. But if you can build yourself, build yourself, strive and to ensure that you're doing the best that you can do so that you can reach your full potential. Your world around you will be a better place. But it has to start with the same leadership. The Liberians' ignorance is $1 million. It is $1 million. Rice is our staple food. Why are we going outside to purchase rice? Look at the things that we need. We need to produce ourselves. We have everything. Like I said, we have everything: the rubber, the iron ore, the copper, the fisheries, the fish. We have the agriculture. We have nice soil, our rainforest. We can tap into all of those things. And then our people, our children will be empowered. And then sooner or later, everybody will be independent. I don't have to steal from you. You don't have to steal from me. The reason why the dependency rate is so high is because the same thing. Lack of knowledge, which is Liberian ignorance, which is $1 million business. The guy comes from Nigeria, he makes money off of us. The guy comes from Lebanon, he makes money off of it. In fact, they occupy all of the businesses that we have. They own the banks. They own a lot of those high institutions, financial institutions, even in the workplace. Our people at work, we still have to look outside. We keep looking outside. We have what are the strategies? What have we put together as far as planning, to help us and to help develop our young people? If we are not investing into our young people, we are not investing into the education of our young people, we're not investing into improving the quality of the lives of our young people, we will still continue to be far, far back. So it's important for us to understand that we tap into our youth, we tap into educating our youth, giving them skills. Some can be carpenters, some can be masons, some can be iron workers, some can be whatever technician, maybe electrician. But if we're not providing those opportunities, think about how these people voted, in drove, just for a change. But yet, we see them living without stable electricity. We see them living, a lot of them don't even have jobs, now we need to sit back and prioritize our youth. We need to prioritize just scouting and trying to find the best brains, bring them on board, so that we can tap into their hands and that they will be able to even assist. But if we keep going back to the old, and bringing back old ideology, then what, someone once said that doing the same thing over and over, is nothing but insanity. So we need to strive to ensure that we are really, really getting down into the trenches to find our young people that we can train, we can educate and empower, and we place them into the private sector. Because some of them would start their own businesses, and that would take the burden off the government. I give you a story. When I left high school, I left Liberia, and I was through a friend and brother of mine. I was able to get to Ghana. I went to a tech school. I started out doing construction technology, and then I went ahead. I had a diploma, my first diploma. I went ahead and got my second diploma. And when I was opportune also, again, I was helped by some family members to transition to the States. Did the same thing, pursue construction. Went ahead, pursue studies in civil engineering. Didn't stop there. And now I'm working in the industry. But where did it start from? It started from me pushing myself, God first, and those people who assisted me. Now we can come back and then give back to our country to make our country a better place. I have a lot of young folks, in around this country and around the world, Liberians who want to come back. And even the Liberians, I have had conversations with some of the young Liberians in that country who you can tell by the content, the things that they say. They are people who are aspiring for the best. But what can they do? They have not been provided the opportunity. Have not been given the opportunity. They have not been provided that environment to thrive and succeed, to make things for them, to make something of themselves. So we are advocating to our government, we are advocating to our leadership to ensure that they are paying, strong attention, on our youth, on our young people, so that they can be empowered. Because the real question, again, we can ask this government, how many people you want to put on your bus? Because we are not investing into our young people, then definitely the people are aging. Those people that you have you keep placing in the hierarchy in the government. They continue to fill us, continue to fill us from time to time. We need change. The changes, we cannot have the changes that we want if we continue to use the same people. And these people are coming with all the rhetorics, and the tricks and things like that. Tricksters, don't want to see the youth grow or to be better. They want to keep the youth down. They want to keep people down. They want to keep the masses down. And you have these people, 1% people enjoying the national wide. But youth, I can assure you that if you tap into yourself, if you know exactly self, the knowledge of self, you have not come here to be numbers. You guys have come to make contribution to the world. Liberia is just our domain. That's where we find ourselves. But you are citizen of the world. So while we're in Liberia, we're saying that government, let us preference our own. Let us preference our youth. Because you know what? Liberia's ignorance is $1 million business. The things that we need, we can produce if we empower our people. We need rights. Yeah, we have people who went to school for agriculture. Now let's get back to the soil. We have accountants, right? All right, we have good accountants. Then they can work at the bank. We have if we can produce good masons, we can produce good carpenters, we can produce good electricians. All of the skilled people. I'm talking about, craftsmen who will be able to work and produce quality and set standards, then we'll be able to produce quality product. But if we're just about this government, and you have these people, these devils, these witchcrafts who are suppressing our young people, then it becomes a problem. So youngsters, I want you to keep pushing yourself. This is about time that, you don't give up, because there's still light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep pushing, just keep pressing on. Let us keep working together, keep the faith, and don't sit there, don't give up on yourself and think that life is over. You gotta humble yourself, push yourself, study to show yourself approved, the book says. And if you do that, it's gonna be really, really, better for you come tomorrow. And that tomorrow is not literally tomorrow, but your future is gonna be better and better. I can tell. Let me give, another scenario. If you watch, I'm not even going to use that scenario. I want to use the scenario about a man who went on a business trip. He's on this business trip, and that's exactly what's happening to Liberia now. So he's in the hotel room getting ready to go to this meeting. It's a story about a man and an inanimate object. As he begins to iron the shirt, he grabbed the shirt, he took the iron, began to iron the shirt. And as he irons the shirt begins to talk back to the man. The shirt says to the man, "Man, what are you trying to do to me? Are you trying to burn me? Are you trying to put a hole in me?" And the man looked at the shirt and said, "Shirt, look, I'm not trying to burn you. You got some wrinkles. I'm just applying this heat so that, you can look good, because I'm taking you somewhere and we're going somewhere. And to get to that place, you have to look good. So I'm preparing you." But as the man continued to iron the shirt began also talk back to the man and said, "Man, I cannot take all the heat." But the man continued to iron the shirt. And then the man's response to the shirt was, "Shirt, look, I saw you and I liked you, and so I purchased you. I bought you with a price, and that's why I bought you." The shirt said, "I cannot even take this. This is too much." But that man continued to iron the shirt. And finally, the shirt said, "Look, I can't take this." And the man said, "Look, shirt, I saw you before I even ironed you. When I bought you, I looked at your tag. I saw that you was a cotton shirt. And so I regulate this iron, to iron a cotton shirt. And so I never put too much on you that you cannot bear." And that's the situation that we're going through. We as young, I'm talking about our young people, even those who are somewhere around 45, 50, maybe 55, 60, it's still not too late. you are going somewhere, and this is the heat. This is the tough season that you have to go through. You've been prepared for a better tomorrow. Take that heat. Be ready to stand up. Put on the full armor, and I know it's going to be better. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. Do not give up. You know within yourself that you're not the last. You know what I mean? You're the first, no matter your circumstances right now. This is only for a time in the season. You have not come here to be a number, or you guys have not come to be spectators, but have come to contribute and to make a difference. And like I said, Liberia is your domain. It'll be good for you to be able to contribute in your own country, Liberia. But I just want to assure everyone, every youth under the sound of my voice, that there is hope at the end of the tunnel. Liberia's ignorance is $1 million business. Why are these people coming to that country extracting all of our resources? Or, even our human capacity, Our people are leaving the country. People are traveling outside because we are not creating an environment for our people to stay. If we can create that environment now, that will be conducive. It's happening in Ghana now. It's happening in Niger. It's happening in Rwanda. It's happening in Zimbabwe. People are going back to their countries. We want to come back to Liberia. I want to come back to Liberia, and contribute. I want to come back to Liberia and stay, enjoy the beaches, enjoy the sceneries, and contribute to the well-being of the citizens of the country. But how can that happen if our youth, our youngsters are not given the opportunity, to make better of themselves? And so this is to the government again. This is to the leadership that continue to suppress these people. It's all about the bills. It's all about the budget. It's all about, funding, how they're going to get paid and this and that and all that. But we're not prioritizing our young people. We need to prioritize our people. We need to prioritize our youngsters. And youngsters, like I said, the knowledge of self is so important. Knowing who you are. Don't reduce yourself. The experience of the next guy should not limit you. You should keep pushing. You should keep pushing. You should keep pushing until, because you know what? The more you push, the harder you push. And that's why Dr. King said that the arc of the moral universe, it bends towards justice. But guess what? It just does not bend on its own accord. It bends when we put our back into it. So let's keep working. Let's keep pushing ourselves. Let's keep preparing ourselves. Don't give up the fight, because you know what? There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Again, Liberia ignorance is $1 million business. We are not utilizing, our resources to build our young people. That's why, you have the Lebanese taking over our stores, our businesses. You have the Nigerians come over. They are Africans. We welcome them, but we want our young people to be absorbed into, the private sector. We want our young people to own their own businesses. We want our young people to be able to contribute to the country, whether it is through the government and things like that. It's not a problem, but everyone cannot be in the government. So that's why we have to definitely heavily contribute towards ensuring that our young people are built so that they can be thrown into society and we integrate them into society. Even some of the ones who are on drugs, some of the girls now who, they have to reduce themselves to be, I'm not going to call names, prostitutes or whatever. These people can be liberated. We can build facilities to be able to groom them so that they'll be able to contribute to society and to the world at large. But first and foremost, they have to be able to contribute to their domain, and that's the Liberia that we're talking about. So we have to make sure that this conversation, we're not only having this conversation, but we're pitching the idea so that everyone can enjoy the national cake. And that way, Liberia will be raised from the pit, and that country will be a better place. That's just my advocacy for the day, And I want this topic to resonate again. For lack of knowledge, the people perish. How can they know until they have a teacher? Liberia ignorance is what? It's a multi-million-dollar business. The things that we need, we must produce. We are importing pepper. We are importing rice. Can you imagine that? We're importing tires. Why should we even be importing cars? Why should we import furniture? We need bed, we need clothes, we need think about a lot of the things that we need, that we use just on a day-to-day basis. Those are things that we can produce in Liberia because we have the rainforest, we have the forest to produce our furniture. We have iron ore to produce our cars. You know, we have the forest, again, the trees to produce papers, toilet tissues. So people are just, we've been exploited, not only of our human resources, but our natural resources. If we can invest into these things, knowing that, you know what, the Liberians' ignorance is $1 million business. And so let us, you know, redirect our attention, not only in the government, but also in the private sector, so that our people can be empowered to make our country a better place. And that, where we have to start from, we have to start with our youth. Our youth will have to be empowered. Invest in our primary education, secondary education, in our high schools, our colleges, our universities. We don't need to travel outside. We can build better higher institutions of learning. We can build better high schools, you know, junior high schools, middle schools, you know, computerized, you know, I'm just talking about facilities, library, and things like that, that will empower our people, empower our young people. You know, Frederick Douglass once said, I want to close on that note. It is better to raise, you know what I mean, strong children than to repair broken men. And that's Frederick Douglass. So we need to now invest into our children. Liberia ignorance is what? It's a multi-million-dollar business. The things that we need, we must produce. If we empower our young people, we'll be able to kind of, you know, give them the skills and the knowledge, the wisdom, understanding that they need. They will be placed in society, and then they'll make our society a better place. Liberia as a country would not be a beggar. Liberia as a country would not be a factory. But you know what? Liberia would not be a market, but would be a factory. People be able to come, you know what I mean, invest. We'll be able to create employment. Our children will be self-sufficient. We will have multi-millionaires. We will have millionaires. You know, people will be able to have jobs and do the things that they need to do to make our country a vibrant place. Again, this is the WE2R Liberians Movement platform, your distinct, dynamic platform that speaks to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we are in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process. Our people, not only in Liberia, but even around the world. To conclude with, I wanna leave with something. You know, how can we now seize the moment? The future of Liberia is up to Liberians. You know, we are each responsible for our own destiny. We cannot continue to look to the outside world for our salvation. When we have these young folks, man, you know what I mean, our youth, you know what I mean, just think about it. Let us invest into our young people. Let us invest into our young people. Let us empower our young people. Young men, don't give up. You don't have to be a Williams. You don't have to be a Dixon. You don't have to be a Williamson. You don't have to be a Winston. You can be a Yakbalo. You can be a Flomo. You can be a Rainy. You can be, you know, you can be whatever if you put your mind to it. You know what I mean? And the only way we would know that, if we've been taught that. And the more that we hear that, you know what I mean, I believe strongly, sooner or later, you know, it'll resonate with us. It will become a part of us. We'll be empowered, and we'll be able to do exceedingly abundantly above what we ourselves can imagine. You know, everything that we need is in us. You know what I mean? Everything that you need, everything that you aspire to be is right there in you. And that's what the book says, that, you know what I mean, you have the ability to say, I think, therefore I am. Speak those things that be not as though they are. We cannot sit there, relax, and be comfortable and be waiting, you know what I mean, extending our hands to the outside world for our salvation when we have everything. I want you guys to get it. I want you guys to get it. Again, I want to thank everyone for, you know, just the time, you know, and hopefully those of you who are going to be following this live subsequently, you know, Liberia ignorance, it's a multi-million-dollar business. And so that's why the things that we need, we must produce ourselves. Once again, this is the WE2R Liberians Movement platform, your distinct, dynamic platform that speaks to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we are in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people. I have been your host, as usual, Ayiti Williams. Thanks for watching. You have a great and blessed day. Bye.